Space. Control.
What did you keep at the sound? What did you keep quiet?
Let's go, guys. We can do better.
Malik is there for.
Hey, Ali. It's okay. Nice one. Hey. Easy, boy. Easy. With you. Nice one, hey! Man, play him out. Easy. Alright.
Well place, Adi. Well place.
Nice.
Hey! Nice one! Abakale! Ibrahim! That's all, Dagana! Go!
You will shift it.
I know, but you should do it on time. The ball is moving. Thank you.
That's good.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, let's go. Cross camera, simple. Lord, they talk to person like say.
Cover! Referee! VAR! I'm saying, if you are coordinating your defense very well, you just save now. Let's go!
Mano, just stay close to our distance.
No be goal, no enter! That's our button. So, let's go there. Wipe out. Hey. Nice. No, you won't go to BAR. You won't go to That's one. Hey. Go!
Don't do that.
Wow, some of your boys don't know what they are doing. Some of your boys don't know what they are doing.
Don't talk to my boys that way.
HR is a player.
Go on. Good job. Penalty! No, see, red card.
Another one.
Go! 3-2.
Well, I felt excited, that kind of goal, very lovely, but most importantly, the teamwork. The ball came from a free kick and I had to jump in and then gave it a good angle and I put the ball away. It was a very good match anyway, but thanks to my teammates.
I feel good. It was a game, though the home team came at us very well. It was very clear that we were not prepared at first, but as the game grew, we understood the game, and that was why the pressure was on them, so we had to equalize the game.
The team we have from Trust TV, I can bet you they can match any team in this country. This is going to be the first time we'll be coming together as a team. You can see the display of talent, the teamwork. We are 2 goals down, and we came back to 2-2. If not because of the time constraint, I'm confident that our team will have won.
A good one there coming from Trust TV versus Arise TV, a friendly game that was organized, and really it was a fantastic game. Our preparation was on for the World Cup. We were also doing our own. A fantastic performance from the 2 teams. It ended 2-2 draw, even though Arise TV scored 2 goals before Trust TV equalized via sport kicks. And right now we are really celebrating the fact that the first game ended draw, although they are calling for the second game, and we are hoping that Trust TV will actually triumph in that particular encounter. Welcome you on the show, 360 Sport on Trust TV. I am Adeni Achishafe. Well, the World Cup is here, really. It has actually begun. It started yesterday, and the whole world saw what happened between Qatar and Ecuador. Qatar also breaking record. But before we actually go to that, let's start from home scene. Let's talk about Nigerian sport. Always, we always want to push our own first. Let's start with NNL Super 4. Bende Insurance wins 2022 league. Good one for the team from Edo State, where they were able to win ahead of El Kanemi, Bayelsa United, and also Doma United. 4 teams that actually squared up to fight for honor in that particular competition. Nigerian National League, the Super 4, where the second tier of Nigerian football leagues actually entail. Well, right now, Bende Insurance are celebrating the fact that they were able to win that competition. If you look at the way the table actually stand finally after they play all the games in the competition, we have Bende Insurance going home with 7 points, playing 3 matches. They won 2, they drew 1, and they actually scored 4 goals, 2 against them, and they have a goal difference of 2. Bayelsa United came second. They had the host team. They have 4 points alongside El Kanemi War. They also have 4 points, but you check the mathematics there. You have Bayelsa, they won 1, drew 1, and also lost 1. The same way El Kanemi War also play, but El Kanemi is scoring 3, and they actually scored 3 goals against them. So that one actually gave Bayelsa United a chance to be ahead with 1 goal difference. And you have Doma United FC coming 4th on the law with just a point, to a -3 goal difference there. Congratulations to Bende Insurance of Benin. Right now, they are the champion of Nigeria National League, the second tier of Nigerian Football League, and really they deserve to be celebrated. I have in the studio with me, Suleiman Shuaibu is here. Suleiman, let's talk some sport.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's always a pleasure. First of all, congratulations to Bendel Insurance. Then secondly, commiserations to Bayelsa, because we know it was tight. I just want to say I really appreciate what Trust TV is doing by spotlighting the local leagues. We need the local leagues to be promoted. We can talk about Premier League today and tomorrow. We can talk about La Liga, but there's much focus that needs to be put on the local leagues. And congratulations to Bendel Insurance. I hope to see more of them, and I hope that this catapults them and elevates them to bigger things.
Good one there. Bende Insurance, they are the champion of Nigerian National League, and really we always want to give focus to Nigerian sport, even though 4 of them competed for honor over there at Samson Siasia Stadium in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. It was the team, Bende Insurance. If you follow the history of that club, one of the foremost clubs in Nigeria when it comes to football, then when they were really doing so well before they got relegated to the second tier. But right now, yes, they are back to the mainframe. Let's see what they'll be offering this season, and now they are the champions of they are the champion of this particular league right now. They are being celebrated. Bende Insurance, champions of 2022-2023. And from there, let's move on to international scene. Now, let's talk about Formula One, where the man of the moment, Max Verstappen, right now really broke record by making sure he won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix over there in Formula One. He was able to win it. Verstappen gets a record-breaking victory in Abu Dhabi. Ahead of others, he actually broke his own record, 15 wins out of 22 22 races. Good one for the racer right now. Talking about Max Verstappen, really, he has done well for himself and also for his team. You just have to appreciate the fact that he has taken Red Bull to at least the highest, the top right now. Out of 22 races, he was to be to win 15. That really shows that Max Verstappen really this year really belongs to him. He did well when it comes to this particular race. You look at Max, started like a joke, and really he ran away with it 15 out of 22, just 7 that he lost out.
Actually quite spectacular when you look at it. He's won 15 out of 22. That means he's won more than his loss. So that's absolutely incredible. Record breaker. He has been breaking records upon records upon records, and he's broken another record. And Verstappen, congratulations to him. A big one, the Abu Dhabi, victorious once again. Absolute record breaker. I'll have to talk about Vettel, who closed the curtains on his career.
No, before we get to Vettel, you look at Max Verstappen really since the beginning of this season rather, he has shown almost all the races from Bahrain to Azerbaijan to everywhere they have raced this year. Max has been the one dominating. In fact, when it was maybe after winning 3, people were like, okay, maybe Lewis Hamilton will come back, and he never came. People were looking at what happened to Mercedes. They ran after Ferrari, ran after Red Bull, but they couldn't close that gap. The gap was really there. I'm talking about Max Verstappen.
Okay, I'm not going to say he has overcome Lewis Hamilton. One thing about Max Verstappen,
this year,
he has actually defended himself, because there have been things that have happened off the racetrack, but he has come back and he's put that controversy aside. And one thing I always respect about athletes in particular are those people that can have themselves focused and fixated on their job, on their occupation, and don't let the distractions of things that are happening off the racetrack come to their ears. And that's what he has delivered. I'm still hoping on Lewis Hamilton, because Lewis Hamilton is actually my favorite Formula 1 driver. I have this affinity towards him. But I still believe that we have to congratulate Verstappen for what he has done. It's absolutely remarkable and exceptional.
It's remarkable for the man of Red Bull to have won the race 15 out of 22. Now let's look at the top 10. The top 10 of this year after all the races ended. When it comes to Formula 1, you have to give it up to Max Verstappen. He really showed class there. Well, Verstappen came first. You just have to appreciate that Sainz, Russell, Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Lance Stroll really did well. Ricciardo, and you have Vettel, Sebastian Vettel. That one takes us to Sebastian, who really raced 299 races in all his career with Formula 1. Talking about Sebastian Vettel, he won for Formula 1 four times, and now that particular race over there in Abu Dhabi, UAE, was his last in Formula 1. And you just have to appreciate the fact that, yes, the man, the German, even though he's going, but really, he showed some class when it comes to this particular sport called Formula 1.
Yeah, he actually bowed out in fantastic fashion. People were saying, was it possible for a miracle to happen? And his final race, he wins it. Unfortunately, he came out 10th, but although you have to say it's been a quite distinguished career, he's won a lot of trophies, 4-time winner. So that's one of the things you need to factor into the equation. Absolutely fantastic, special guy. And that's one of the things when it comes to retiring with athletes. That's one of the things that happens when it comes to retiring with athletes. When exactly is the right time? Because you would want to continue as much as possible, but you have to understand that this career is limited in terms of years. It's not your regular career. And we are talking about 10 years, 10 plus years. I think you have to understand that and comprehend the fact that it's time to bow out. And he's bowed out at the very, very best time. Hopefully you'll still see him still play a crucial, integral part in the sport.
Well, hopefully we'll see what he will continue to do. Really, Sebastian Vettel deserves to be given that commendation. He has done it for himself, buying out just yesterday over there in Abu Dhabi at the final race of his career after racing 299 times in the Formula 1 and winning 4 times in the Grand Prix. Good one for Sebastian Vettel, and also man of the moment, Max Verstappen of Red Bull, coasting home with 15 out of 22 races so far this season. Really, he is the king of the Grand Prix for 2022. We'll have to celebrate Max Verstappen, really. He deserves it. And from there, we move away from Max Verstappen as we quickly talk about the NBA. If you're a lover of basketball, let's quickly look at some results of the NBA. Games were played, and we look at the result right now, starting from Golden State Warriors. They actually won that game 127 against 120 against Houston Rockets after they played their game. San Antonio Spurs against LA Lakers. Good one for LA Lakers, 123 against 92. Still looking at the result of the NBA now. Let's move on to the second one, where we talk about Denver Nuggets of Colorado winning by just a point ahead of Dallas Mavericks. And you move away straight up to look at the other result also, talking about Miami Heat 87-113 against Cleveland Cavaliers. You have Memphis Grizzlies 115 against Brooklyn Nets, who actually won 127 against Memphis Grizzlies. So Suleiman, LA Lakers finally they bounced back. But let's look at Golden State Warriors first in their game.
Okay, now the first thing you have to look at Golden State Warriors is that Stephen Curry has been playing at an MVP level. He's been arguably the best player in the NBA. And one of the questions surrounding Stephen Curry is that, are the other players going to come into the party? Now you look at the history of basketball. Who exactly can get hotter than Klay Thompson? When he gets hot, he gets supernova hot. We remember his 37-point quarter. Now we're talking about, I was watching that game yesterday, his record is 14 threes, and he had 10 threes yesterday. So I was thinking, was it possible that he'll get to 14 threes? But he dropped an incredible performance, and the only way the Golden State Warriors can thrive this particular season is if Steph Curry gets support. We understand he's their best player, we understand they build everything around him, but he needs support. Moving on to the Lakers. The most impressive thing about the Lakers yesterday was the fact that Anthony Davis came out with 18 rebounds, 31 points. Anthony Davis on his day is one of the best players in the NBA, but the reoccurring injuries has hindered him and stopped him from progressing to show that a lot of people speculated that he could win the MVP this season. I guess we're going to have to wait and see, but incredible performance from him. We're looking at the Grizzlies. They lost to the Nets. Last season, there was so much talk about the fact that Grizzlies are a better team without Ja Morant. Ja Morant is not in the team now, he's injured. And they haven't still convinced me that they're a better team without Ja Morant. And the Nets won. So there are so many things that are coming to play. And I think it was an exciting matchup. It's a very incredible performance yesterday.
Now, Brooklyn Nets and okay, you actually talked about that. But another one you look at is, LA Lakers. Despite the fact that their main man, LeBron James, I beg your pardon, LeBron James now, despite the injury and all that, it seems that now they are getting back to the momentum. They lost a lot of games so far, but now they are getting back to reckoning.
When LeBron James came into the Lakers, what was the first thing he said? He said that he's going to tell the world that this isn't his team. This is Anthony Davis' team. So when LeBron James came into the team, the plan was to still build the team around Anthony Davis, but that hasn't worked because of the injuries Anthony Davis has been getting. Now we need to see Anthony Davis step up. I still believe that Anthony Davis can carry this team into the playoffs. Then now happens to be that LeBron has to come and give him support. Russell Westbrook has been a shadow of himself. We know the numbers he brings to the table, but his indecisiveness has been a problem. He's missing trees. He's missing trees very, very badly. And Pat Dev will brought him for the unity of the team. Pat Dev hasn't really contributed to this team. But I believe that Anthony Davis, as a big man that he is, he can contribute immensely. And with him in the team, then they'll definitely strive this season.
Okay, and now from the way it is, maybe I should just ask you, even though I know the journey is still very far away, who are you tipping for this year?
That is the thing. First of all, my heart is always going to go to Golden State Warriors because I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. But I'm looking at it, you have to look at the Phoenix Suns. Look at what they are doing. They have two MVP caliber players there. They have Chris Paul and they have Devin Booker. And Devin Booker has been sensational this season. So there's a huge possibility that they win it. I remember that 2 years ago, they lost because of the greatness of Giannis Antetokounmpo. So now let's see who exactly is going to stop them. I really believe that there's a possibility that this could be their season and this could be Devin Booker's season.
Are you actually writing on Milwaukee Bucks this season?
I'm not writing off Milwaukee Bucks, but is Drew Holiday going to come back and be in form? There are so many things that come into place. Now people are understanding that Giannis, once you stop Giannis, there's a possibility to stop Milwaukee Bucks. So that's the problem. And Giannis' threes has improved drastically. But has he gotten to the point where he can sink in threes to win the championship for his team? He did last time, but he had the support of Holiday. Now let's see what's going to happen this season. But I still believe that the Phoenix Suns will win it.
Now, let's even though a bit one way or the other, they dropped the guard a bit, but I still look at Boston Celtics too. They can actually spring up surprise.
Boston Celtics, the problem is the controversy they had. One of the reasons they thrived last season was because of Ime Udoka was the coach. Now he's been relieved of his duties. They brought in someone in. So integrating the team, coming in with a new philosophy, coming in with a new game plan, is he going to propel them to that level? And who stopped them last season? It was Golden State Warriors. And Golden State Warriors, to me, there were times where they could have beaten Golden State Warriors. I don't believe that, as much as I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, I don't believe that they should have been beaten that easily and convincingly by the Golden State Warriors in last year's final. So I just believe that if Ime Udoka was still here as the coach, then there's a possibility they would have gone on to winning. But I just believe the fact that he's no longer the coach and somebody else is coming in with a new blueprint, that might be detrimental to the team.
The Kobe gentlemen are coming from Suleiman Shuaibu there. We've been looking at the NBA, even just to give you some idea of the match or games played over there in USA. The NBA always very easily to watch. It's slam and dunk sport called basketball. When you watch those guys, you wonder where they get their skills. Well, good one there. Now let's talk about the World Cup. Yes, Qatar, the host nation. It all started just like that. Qatar lose opening game against Ecuador to set record. It has never happened that the host nation will lose their first game. It has always been a draw or the win, but just yesterday Qatar, the host country, lost their game in that particular encounter against Ecuador 2-0. The man of the moment, Ina Valencia, was able to score those goals and just has to celebrate Ecuadorian team right now, making at least a lot of history for themselves. And the man too right now about 5 goals that he has scored so far at the World Cup. And you look at the fact that Ecuador in this game they could have even scored 3 if not for VAR thereabout.
I think there comes a time when you have to realize that certain players need to step up and play for the badge. Qatar has done a lot to host this World Cup. They've spent $220 billion to make sure every single thing is
costless World Cup so far.
Then now, costless World Cup is more considered than every single World Cup that has been done in the past. So now it's up to the Qatari players to step up. One of the reasons Qatar won the Asian Cup last time is because of they play with 5-3-2. The most important players are the wing backs because they bomb forward and create opportunities for 2 strikers, Alfif and Ali. We know Ali is the creativity. We know Alfif is the finisher. It didn't work out yesterday. There was no guile, there was no creativity. They could not penetrate or break down the Ecuadorian defense. And that's where the issue lies in. Who has the record for most goals scored? The fewest goals scored as a host nation. South Africa, how many goals did they score? 3 goals. I'm telling you, there's a huge possibility that the way this Qatari side are playing, they might get less than 3 goals, and it will just be shocking considering they are the host nation and considering how much they've invested to make sure they host this cup. I think they need to do something. They need to pay back the fans because the fans are defending them. A population of 150,000, they had close to 1/3 or something come to the match to support them. Then you need to deliver. That's just the
but no matter how even they support them, if they are not prepared, because it's obvious that Qatar really cannot match up with all the player teams in their particular group A. You see how Senegal, you see how Netherlands, how would they do it? It's going to be a tough one for them.
The first way they would have done it is avoiding defeat against Ecuador. Now that they've lost to Ecuador, it makes it more difficult. Now you need to win Netherlands, who are the favourites to top the group. I need to win Senegal.
Which is not visible.
Which I wouldn't say is not feasible because you can never write anything out in football. There's still a possibility. But with the way they played, with how they exhibited their performance against Ecuador, I think I'm really, really doubting the possibility of them qualifying from this group. But the thing right now they should be looking at is that South Africa scored only 3 goals in 2010 World Cup after hosting. They need to score more than 3 goals, and at least they need to win 1 match. They need to get 1 game.
Now, looking at the table there, let's go back to the table where we look at the fact that Ecuador now, they started so well. They have 3 points plus 2 because they didn't concede any goal. And now you look at Netherlands and Senegal, though that will be coming up today. We'll be talking about that in our subsequent edition. But Qatar, the host nation, -2. And it's obvious that from the way it is, they started on a very, very wrong note. And this will actually have a toll on them.
It's going to have a huge toll on them because you are looking at the game now. Can they beat Senegal? I highly doubt it. Can they beat Netherlands? I highly doubt it. And Ecuador already has 3 points. So where exactly do they go from here? That's the thing. This is football. Anything can happen. You cannot rule out anything from the realm of reality or the realm of possibility. But one thing I would say is that they should be looking at Senegal and saying, we have a chance. I'm not saying right off against Netherlands, just going to the Netherlands game and say we're going to be beaten. But against Senegal, I believe they should go for 3 points. Against Netherlands, maybe they can be cautious. They can understand that Netherlands have a very good attacking output. So there's a possibility they might get destroyed or decimated if they go in full force. But against Ghana, against Senegal, they need to go up against Senegal.
Now, before we wrap it up, let's talk about the man of the moment, Ina Valencia. Really fantastic player who really did so well in that game against Qatar, even though we just have to give credit to the entire team. But he stood out, winning man of the match and also dominating, scoring those goals. We have to appreciate the fact that he has done well for his country, talking about Ecuador. Well, right now, the man, that's Valencia. It seems to be really getting a lot of accolades right now.
No, one thing I loved about his performance yesterday was the fact that he was strong. He came in, his link-up play was really, really good. And he positioned himself well for the 2 goals. But one thing you need to look at now is that he should be propelled and motivated to say that I'm going to win that golden boot. Forget about what Mbappe is doing, forget about what Kane is doing, forget about what Ronaldo is doing. You have a 2 goals head start. So you should be motivated and say, I'm going to win the golden boot. If he does well, if he scores goals, his team, they are going to win matches. So he needs to understand the fact that he needs to be there for that team, get himself in the best positions, and he can't afford to miss easy chances. He scored 2 very good goals yesterday, but now, moving forward, he needs to understand that he should take this momentum to other matches and do as well as he can for the team.
Even though Valencia has been fantastic, at least the job of the entire squad who worked hard to defeat Qatar, breaking that record where it has never happened. The host nation will lose in the first game. It's either a draw or it's a win. Well, right now, Qatar will just have to work hard or harder if they are to at least defeat Senegal and also Netherlands in their next 2 games, which is right now is something you can look at as a huge task for them if they are to win that game. Looking at the preparation before the World Cup, even though this World Cup has been touted as the biggest, right, when it comes to cost, money they spend. Now, watching the opening game, do you really look at, does it justify that amount of money, the opening game?
First of all,
reception.
The cost went to the infrastructure. You know how hot Qatar is, so the cost went to making the stadiums. They didn't have this much stadiums before they started the plan for the World Cup. So those are the costs that went into it. I really enjoyed the opening ceremony. I thought it was incredible. We had Morgan Freeman come in and have a conversation about uniting the world and other factors that come into play. But you need to look at what exactly have they done. Now, if you follow what people are saying on social media, they made sure that they gave every single person in that stadium a blanket, a jersey, a puppet. So there are so many things that come into play. That is one of the reasons why there's been so much expenditure on this World Cup. They've built the stadiums. I think the stadiums are beautiful. Unfortunately, I've not seen it with my own eyes live, but I've seen it through TV and other places, and the stadiums are beautiful. The air conditioner, a lot of people came out and commented that the place was very cold, although outside is very hot, but the place was very cold. So those are the things that the expenditure went into, and justifiably so. I actually understand that because the stadiums are state of the art, first in class.
First in class when it comes to the stadium. Qatar showing their class when it comes to infrastructure. They did well by making sure all the stadia they'll be using for the World Cup are one of the best when it comes to facilities and also infrastructure, digital everywhere. Well, good one for them. Right now, against all odds, they've started and matches will continue today. We'll be looking at that in our subsequent edition. But really, it's been a wonderful time looking at all these stories that have to do with World Cup, Formula One, not forgetting the Nigerian National League, and also we look at the NBA there. For those teams doing well, good one for them. And for those who are yet to actually pick up the pieces, we hope that they will pick up. It has been a wonderful time with Suleiman Shaibu in the studio. Good to have you, Suleiman.
Thank you very much for having me, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Good one there. I am Adeni Ajishafe. Thanks for watching.